another recording of Joyful Mate. I'm your Joyful Journey mentor, Anthony Hartcher, and I look forward to sharing with you some insights of 2024 in terms of reflection and looking forward into 2025. So, as you're probably aware, the listeners certainly are, that I've started this podcast at the end of 2024. It's been a lifelong project, but it really just had that light bulb moment that dawned upon me towards the end of 2024 when I was trying to discover my niche. What do I want to niche in? And the light bulb come to me when I was at a professional speakers association event, and we touched on the subject of happiness. And I was reflecting on my life, and I've certainly had periods where I haven't been quite so happy or fulfilled, and periods of immense fulfillment and enjoyment and life satisfaction. And I must say, I'm in that period of extreme life satisfaction, extreme contentment, and extreme bliss. And I wanted to part that or share that with others. And hence why I started up Joyful Mate, to really connect with others and help others find their path to fulfillment, contentment, joy, satisfaction, and ultimate life bliss. So, this is why I'm doing the podcast. This is why I've started Joyful Mate. And this recording is me wrapping up 2024 and sharing with you some insights for 2025 and what to look forward to. So, in terms of reflection on the year, it's really important to reflect on the year. I often spend a lot of time towards the end of the year reflecting on the year that's been, what's went well, what hasn't gone so well. And I start the path for 2025 in 2024 so that I hit 2025 running with momentum. And as you can see, Joyful Mate is running with momentum. It was a project I started at the back end of 2024. I could have easily put it back and said or delay it and said, "Oh, I'll start it in 2025. There's too much on." But for me, that is stopping the momentum. And what what you'll want to do is set goals and start on them straight away. This is very easy, this process, when you actually align goals to what's most important to you. So Joyful Mate was extremely and highly aligned to what's most important to me, and that is and enlightening the well-being of others, and in particularly in the space of mental health. So when I touched or had this light bulb moment, I couldn't stop myself. And you've probably seen, or you're probably not aware that I've already done 25 episodes of Joyful Mate, and the year hasn't even finished yet. And this is a bonus episode. So, in terms of how to set the goals, what you want to look at is what's most fulfilling in terms of what are you doing now that's most fulfilling that you do on a regular basis. And think about that. And how can you do more of that on a regular basis? So it's reflecting of the things that you take action on that bring you energy, that make you get super present, hyper focused. These are the things that bring you huge amounts of satisfaction, huge amounts of fulfillment. And what I'd love you to do is work out how you can sprinkle that more into every day, every week, every month of 2025. So think about it now. Reflect on the year. What are the things that you did that brought you extreme presence when you're doing it, that didn't require external sources to do that? So I'm not referring to taking drugs or doing things that are just immediately gratifying, such as eating chocolate cake or having biscuits. These are the things that you do that are sustainable long term in terms of good health outcomes, good mental health outcomes, good physical health outcomes that bring you presence. So, what might that be? That could be walking with your partner and talking. It could be like doing a hobby. And I think a good way to do this is also reflect on the past, like things that you've done in the past that have brought immense joy, satisfaction, fulfillment, and think about whether they're aligned to who you are today. So for me, when I was going through a period of struggle, I was actually going through a divorce, and I was feeling unfulfilled and feeling down and like a failure. And what I did was I looked back and I thought exercise in the past has brought me a lot of fulfillment, a lot of life satisfaction, and it gets me present. So what I did was I got hyper focused back into my exercise and sport. And that really helped me through the struggle of a breakup. So it is worthwhile reflecting on the past, but remember, when you reflect on the past, it might not be relevant today. So some of the things that brought fulfillment to me in the past wouldn't do so today, because values change over time based on life circumstances or based on the evolution of your life. So it doesn't necessarily mean something that really excited you as a childhood, like opening Christmas presents, is going to bring the same satisfaction today. And as I said, it's something that is not immediately gratifying. It's something that you do, that you're working towards, that brings you fulfillment in the moment, but you have a grander vision of what you want to achieve. So my grander vision is this mission of enhancing and enlightening the well-being of others, and doing that to millions of people. And so this is why I've started two podcasts, is to get out to more people. I've got a YouTube channel, and so when I'm doing these recordings and educating, I really feel fulfilled. And that's why I can do it no matter what day it is. So I'm recording this on the day after Boxing Day, which for most people is probably a public holiday, or they're probably on holidays. And for me, this is not like I'm working. It is something that I am inspired to do, that brings me huge amounts of satisfaction and fulfillment. So what is it that you can do that you it doesn't feel like work? It feels a sense of higher purpose, a sense of belonging. So I feel very connected to my purpose when I'm doing this, because I'm enhancing and enlightening your well-being, and in particularly your mental well-being. So I want you to reflect on the things that you did in 2024 that you really just enjoy doing. And it could have been doing a new form of exercise. It could been just writing or journaling. It could be your nightly routine, or it could be a morning routine. But whatever it is, it's doing more of it. And whilst you go down this path of looking for your life's purpose, you will find it when you connect with things that bring you fulfillment and contentment. It's like me, it's taken me 48 years to stumble upon Joyful Mate, but I've never felt so alive with this mission. And it's been a lifetime's work into getting here. So, but the path to get here for me was doing the things that brought me fulfillment and joy, not the things that people are telling you that you should be doing and that are good for you. It's the things that resonate with you, resonate with your heart and soul. And so it's really the connection between mind and body. But in that process, it's connecting the three brains. It's connecting the thinking brain, the neurological brain upstairs, connecting the heart brain and the gut brain. When they're in alignment, then you're in complete alignment and fulfillment. And so in the past, I was doing a lot of things that I thought were good for me or would bring me satisfaction. And like, I had goals around building a company and listing it on the stock exchange and making loads of money. And these were some of my, 20s, in my 20s, sort of dreams and aspirations I had. But I didn't take any action on it because it wasn't lighting me up. Whereas when I stumbled upon my niche in the mental health space, which is helping people find more joy and fulfillment, it lit me up, and I took immediate action. So it's the inspirational visions that drive you into immediate action. They're the things that are really that align your brain, heart, and gut. And that's when you feel aligned to the activity that you're doing and you can't stop doing it. So when I'm not recording, I'm uploading this to Spotify, I'm uploading it to all my channels, I'm getting my website updated so that it's accessible to people. It's really important that not only I record content, that I distribute the content. So I and I'm also getting others to help me. My daughter Sophia has started to help me distribute the content that I'm developing. So I want you to think about and reflect on what brought you contentment or satisfaction or brought you presence. What gets you in the present moment? Because whatever brings you presence and you don't like, you just don't want to be distracted, that's really important to you. And do more of that. Write that down and find out more ways in which you can do that in 2025. The other important point I wanted to raise around setting yourself up for success in 2025, and something that I really reflected on in 2024, is expectations. So when we have unrealistic expectations on ourselves or on the world, it brings dissatisfaction. And what do I mean by unrealistic expectations? It's fantasies. It's like a one-sided outcome that it can only be all good. Like, for example, if I say me doing a recording is just all good and there's no downsides, there is downsides to this. I have other values. And so when I'm doing a recording, I'm not with my family. And so there are consequences of me doing what's really fulfilling. And so I'm aware of that. And I do my best to balance out my values in terms of what's high priority and make sure I'm filling up each of the buckets on a regular basis. And what I mean by filling up the buckets, it's putting time into each of the areas that are really important to you. So I don't put any energy into things that aren't important to me. Others may tell me and say that they're important to me, but I know what's important to me. And I say no to the things that aren't important to me and yes to the things that are really important to me. So I'm filling up the buckets that are really valuable to me. And so I think when you're setting goals, you set realistic goals, is be aware that any astronomical vision or purpose that you have will require some sacrifices. There is a consequence to every action. As much as the action propels me forward to do Joyful Mate, there are consequences of me on this mission and fulfilling this mission. However, I'm aware of the consequences, and if they're important to me, I'll do something about them. But if they're not, I don't. I say no to anything else that will distract me away from Joyful Mate. So also want you to reflect on that whatever you set out to achieve in 2025 will require time away from other things. And I don't want you, like, when you are on purpose and you're doing or setting goals aligned to your mission, you won't feel that there's a fear of missing out. It's only when you don't know what's important to you, you're always looking for something better because you've said yes to something that's not really important to you. So the fear of missing out only comes when you're saying yes to things that aren't important to you. I don't have this problem because I don't say yes to the things that aren't important to me. So I'm never missing out. So if you ever get FOMO or the fear of missing out, it's because you're committing to things or saying yes to things that aren't truly important to you. If if you're saying yes to something that's truly important to you, you do not get FOMO. There's nothing else in this present moment that I'd rather be doing than recording this Joyful Mate podcast recording. My family's off doing things that they love doing, and I'm doing something that I love doing. It's win-win. So certainly I want you to not feel, well, if whatever you're setting or saying yes to is giving you a sense of FOMO, then it's not truly important to you. So ditch the things that bring FOMO to you and say yes to the things that are really aligned to your heart and soul. Get out of the thinking brain. Often our thinking brain is very much influenced by others, whereas our soul knows the direction that we want to go in. It knows our life's direction. So connect with the heart and soul, and it will keep you on track. And so it's good to get out of the thinking brain and connect with the heart and soul. And we can only do that when we're really calm. This is the other thing that really brought to my consciousness, that the more time that you have when you're calm and not thinking or overdoing, so less stimulus, the more aligned you'll become with your heart and soul. So it's really important when you're doing this reflection and goal setting for 2025 that you do it in a super calm state. Like, look at my environment. I'm out in the bushes. As you can see, I'm really in nature at the moment. I can hear bird sounds. The wind, you can see the leaves rustling and the wind blowing. And I'm in a area or a zone which is for me, completely calming to the nervous system. So this is really good for connecting in terms of what you're doing and making sure it resonates with the heart and soul. When we're busy and doing, we get too stuck up in the thinking brain, and we won't connect to our true purpose or aligned at what we're doing to our true purpose, or be doing what's really important to us if we're in a doing state. We're just doing and ticking boxes and in a very transactional way. Whereas if you want to get into more that relational way or relationship way, and that's relationship with who you are. So, and that relationship can only be built with you in a calm and relaxed state, because you get the alignment of the three brains: the thinking brain, the heart and soul, and the gut brain. So that was pretty much what I wanted to share, is in terms of thinking about, like in summarizing what I've shared, is thinking, reflecting on 2024, what brought you joy and satisfaction that wasn't impulsive or intrinsically driven. It didn't come from the outside, it came from within. It was something that you wanted to do and it felt really aligned to who you are. Do more of that in 2025. Be aware that whenever you take an action, there will be a consequence. And long as if you're aware of that, then you can obviously deal with it. You don't need to deal with it if it's not important to you. Only deal with the consequences that are important to you. And get into the best way to set goals is to be in a calm state, to be in a deep reflective state and a deeply aligned state, so that the brain is aligned to the heart and soul, and that will ensure that you're saying yes to the right things and you don't experience FOMO. It's when we say yes to things that aren't important to us that we experience the FOMO. You'll never have the experience of FOMO when you're doing things that are truly aligned to who you are. So do more of that in 2025. It will bring more joy, satisfaction, and contentment. In terms of what's happening next year on Joyful Mate, there's lots of interviews with experts in the field of happiness and in mental health. There's lots of insights from others. So listeners get involved. I'm interviewing anyone on what happiness is to them, to get a broader perspective of what brings happiness to certain people. So I really open up my level of consciousness and awareness to happiness, because it's such an open and expansive topic. It's not a one size fits all. It's completely individualized, and it's what brings the individual satisfaction, contentment, and happiness. So there's lots to look forward to in 2025. I'd love to help if you're struggling in this area and you're wanting to set a vision for 2025 and feel more fulfilled in 2025. Please reach out to me. My email is in the show notes. It is connected to anywhere you're viewing this. So please reach out to Anthony@joyfulmate.com. Anthony@joyfulmate.com. And reach out. I'll be happy to serve you. I've got free 15-minute discovery sessions where you can see if I'm a good fit in terms of helping you find more fulfillment in 2025. Until the next recording, continue to go out and experience joy. Thank you.